Welcome to Corks and Conversation with Dana Stabenow.
Yes, her latest book is Spoils of the Dead, featuring Alaskan trooper Liam Campbell. And Cathi, what about her name? I mean, Dana Stabenow, is that not great or what for a crime writer?
We are going to have to clarify that she was not destined for this. I'm just saying. Okay, so let me tell you just a small part about Dana, and then we'll let her tell us the rest. But most importantly, Dana was born in Anchorage, Alaska, and
Which is unique.
It is, and if you are an avid reader of Dana's, which many people are, you will know that her great story says she was raised on a 75-foot fishing tender, but she knew there was a warmer, drier job out there somewhere and found it in writing. And we are so thankful that she has continued to write her great series. Her first, Kate, I say this wrong, so Dana, hop in and tell me if I'm saying it wrong. Shugak. How do we pronounce Shugak? See, I did the South Dakota instead of ak. That first book, A Cold Day for Murder, received an Edgar Award from the Thriller Writers of America, which is very prestigious and exciting and well-deserved. She has written nearing 30, I believe, books at this point. That sounds very tiring.
37 or 30, I think.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And we're all just getting tired talking about it. So we just want to get to our conversation with Dana. So Dana, welcome. It's so great to talk with you today.
And I'm so glad we were able to connect.
Yes.
All right. So first of all, Dana, let's talk about what's important here. It's the wine.
Yes. So Dana, you chose the Delheim Pinotage Rose. And I'm so curious because when I looked trying to find it anywhere, I was like, this is kind of an exclusive wine. I don't know if she's part of a wine club or she's been to South Africa. So how did you end up getting this wine?
I actually don't like rosé. How about that? And I never ever would have got a rosé for myself because they always used to be really thin and really sweet. Well, my friends went to South Africa and they toured the winery and they found this wine and they brought it home and they, forced a glass down me.
Ugh,
and
awful friends. Awful.
I mean, what could I do? And so now they have to order it by the case if I'm going to come back and visit.
Oh, great.
Oh, those are good friends. Those are very good friends.
Well, we did the best kind of friends. Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't find, that here because I don't have friends that are visiting from South Africa, but I did find a Rodney Strong, it's rosé of Pinot Noir from the Sonoma County. So I'm thinking it might be kind of close to a Pinotage, right? I don't know, but it's tasty as well, and it's not.
Let's all take a little sip here.
The color is very similar. The colors of our three are very similar.
Rosés
used to be much more pink, and they're kind of orange now.
Yeah, mine's pink.
Well, the Delheim is described as a light salmon color with a soft pink hue. That's according to their website. Yes. So it, nice and fruity. It actually says it has a little candy floss to it.
Oh man, I don't think so. I don't like it.
It says pomegranate and cranberry with nuances of candy floss. And I'm like, what is candy floss anyway?
I don't
know. So I'm thinking the pomegranate and the cranberry make it sort of not too sweet. That's what I would think. But
I think maybe I just have a very unsophisticated palate. It tastes really good to me. I don't know what it tastes like, except.
Thank you
thanks for suggesting. Yes. Okay. All right. So are we ready to jump into the questions?
Let's get into the meat of things.
Okay. So I just loved the way you so intimately portrayed Alaska as the unique place that it is. I mean, as a reader, we feel like we're there and we can see it without even having been there. Have you ever, This is my question. Written a setting in a real life place that you haven't been.
Ooh.
Well, yeah. I mean, my first two books and my fourth book were science fiction, and they were set in high Earth orbit.
Okay,
In
that's
the
not real life, though. That's not real life.
and right now, it's not in the present day, but right now I'm writing books that are set in Alexandria in the time of Cleopatra. So,
Oh, wow. Wow. I mean, do you think like, because I mean, we often talk about like, writers like John Sanford who has to always go to where he's writing about. And so there's like two sides. Do you think like with the way media is now, you could almost bluff it as a writer, I would think, because there's so much on there, or do you think that really it's really good, because you write such great um place and you live in Alaska and this is set in Alaska, but do you think people can bluff it or no way?
I don't know. There's always, I'm always hesitant to read books that are written about Alaska by people who don't live there, because you always catch the glitches. You always do. And I would bet that that is the case for every writer who lives anywhere in the world.
Mhm.
Certainly Google Earth fills in a lot of holes, but I wrote an historical trilogy called It's Silken Song, and it involves travel on the Silk Road from China to England in the years
Oh.
1322 to 1327. And I did not feel comfortable writing that book until I had visited as many of the places that they went. I wasn't able to go to all of them, but I actually did at least drive on the Silk Road in Western China. I made the driver pause so that I could stop and take a photograph of this red lump that he swore to me was the last vestige of the western part of the Great Wall of China.
Oh, wow.
In the middle
That's
of
so cool.
desert.
Oh,
You have to give him an explanation that I'm a writer, so I need you to stop for a minute to get this. That's awesome.
Oh, wow. That is cool. I mean, I also think, just even sometimes it smells, even, or like just different sounds.
Setting is the single most important thing to me. Setting, you have to know where the setting is. You have to be grounded, so to speak, in the setting of every book. And every writer will tell you a different thing, as I'm sure you already know.
Yeah.
But setting, I always begin with the setting. Where are these people? And once you decide where you are, you can figure out who the people are who live there. And after that, what they're getting up to. Setting, I always begin with setting, always. And of course, I probably write best about Alaska because I was born and I was raised there and I've lived there all my life.
Right. You write
I
what you
think
know.
people have a love affair with Alaska. I think, it's that other, and we don't have a lot of other right now at this point, right? That we're so familiar, like you say, with Google Earth. But I'd live with someone who has a love affair with Alaska. My husband is just, he's actually, I tore this off. I had to steal your book off his nightstand because he's taken it on, and he's not much of a fiction reader, but he just was, I think, one of those people that you appeal to, just the love of that land, and you describe it intimately. I think, not, as you say, you obviously know this land intimately, and I
But you write it well too.
Thank you.
And we need to go up and visit her too. And have
Absolutely.
Pinotage up there.
Yeah.
right. Well, get your friends.
I don't know if I can get Delheim in Alaska, but I'll do my very best.
Okay, so I will also say, like Christy and all of your readers, the setting was my favorite part of this novel. But I have a second favorite part, and I want to ask you about it. My second favorite part was the very just mature relationship between Liam and Y. I loved their relationship in this novel.
I cannot. There's no way to describe my gratitude to you for saying exactly that. I read a lot of series fiction. That's why I write it, because I love to go back and revisit characters I love. That's why we always read. All of us read series fiction. And I am so tired of writers breaking up, their hero and whoever their significant other is. Mostly they're doing it for dramatic effect, to create tension. And I think that it is every bit as difficult to write successfully a relationship that works and continues to work. I'm not saying nothing bad is ever going to happen to them again. I'm not saying that they won't have problems. Every relationship does. But there is I want this relationship to continue to work through future books. They've worked really hard to get where they are, and there's going to be no frivolous breaking up of people. There's not.
Well, that's wonderful, because I don't like that either. I'm like going, oh, just, let them be happy. The bad stuff can come around, and sometimes it gets close, like you say, but I love to see where they can pull it together. And
well, it's not like they don't have a lot of drama going on in both their lives.
Exactly. It opens with why giving up her business, right?
Drama is inherent in a cop's life. God.
Yeah, and I thought that was such a great place to start, with him having to move on to the next place, which is an inevitability, as you explain, for that kind of cop's life. And then her, though, having to give her well-established business and go figure out what's coming for her. But then I just found that to be, and I think it felt refreshing, because like you say, so many breakups that aren't necessary. I want to see the real stuff,
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the best compliment I've had on this book so far. Thank you.
oh, thanks.
Oh, wait, I'm just gonna let that float in my heart. Okay, so
float mine too.
Okay, well then we're mutually all floating. Let's have a drink, shall we?
I'm sure it has something to do with the wine.
We tend to do better interviews, Dana, when we have wine. I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Dana, we're kind of midway-ish, and we have this thing where we like to ask the authors we get to talk to what we call the question in a bottle, which is kind of the question you might get to at the end of a bottle of rosé from South Africa. If you don't care for the question, we can pass. That's okay. Christie's got a whole bunch of them.
Yes. Okay. So, let's see. Oh, this is interesting. What is the most outdated slang word you use on a regular basis?
Well, I don't know if it's that outdated, but I seem to use it a lot more than everybody else. Cool. I've actually heard other people use the word groovy in my presence even today, but I do not myself use that word.
I know.
Is cool outdated? Because if it is,
I don't know. It kind of goes in and out, I think.
Because I use cool a lot too, Dana, but I have an 18-year-old daughter somewhere in this house. We could ask her, but I don't want to.
I know. I think my 22-year-old daughter, I think she sometimes will reply on text, cool. So, but I don't think I hear her say it too much.
Well, I use it all the time. All the time. So
cool, man.
I'm betraying my roots.
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah, there you go. That's great. Okay, so on to the real questions. I want to talk about research and writing. So I myself have a science background, so I do love research, and especially hands-on research. And I must say that I'm a little jealous of the research you did where you went on a patrol with the U.S. Coast Guard. And so I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about that.
It was the Writer God smiling down at me. Really. I was actually writing Liam Campbell novels. This was quite some time ago. I was actually, and the Coast Guard is always a presence in the life of anybody who lives on shore. On the coast, on any coast, because they have jurisdiction over the coastal waters and all navigable waters. So, so I was looking for a way to write the Coast Guard into a Liam Campbell novel, and so I looked at the Coast Guard website, and then I found I found the Coast Guard. It used to be a naval base on Kodiak Island, and then the U.S. Navy handed it off to the Coast Guard. So it's this immense, enormous base. So, and I'll tell you, the Coast Guard has a fabulous online. I mean, we're talking back like in 2004, and it was great even then. It's better now. And they have pages for each of their crews, and they use it for the crews. I'm going to go off on a tangent here. They use they use it for the crews because they're constantly rotating members of the crews, and so they're coming in. The crew member and his family maybe are going to be coming into Kodiak, and so they have all these resources up for them, and email contacts and everything, including. They have a list of the commanding officers. So there were, I forget how many cutters were stationed, probably 3 at Kodiak at that time. And one of them, get this, ladies, was named, are you ready?
No.
The Alex Haley.
What?
Alex Haley? Oh my gosh.
Alex Haley was in the Coast Guard. I didn't know that. And I thought,
oh, well, that's nice.
You're making that up. That could not have happened.
They had an email address for the captain, and I thought, well, I mean, he doesn't have to answer me. He knows what the delete button means. And so I emailed him, and I introduced myself, and all I asked him was, would you answer some questions? Would you mind? And I gave him my CV, and I showed him where my website was, and I gave him my phone number and everything, so he wouldn't think I was some crazy nut job. Anyway, literally by return email, he said, "Come on down." So I flew to Kodiak, and I stayed there for a couple of days, and he ran me all over the base and ran me all over the Alex Haley. And before I got home, I had an invitation to go on patrol with them.
Oh, wow.
And this was in February in the Bering Sea.
Oh, yeah. See, that's my next question. Like, it sounds good, but
we want to live vicariously through you. I'm just saying.
The first,
like the seas are like this,
Kathy,
right?
Maybe not, Kathy. You don't.
Yeah, maybe not. I actually was just thinking. I'm taking it back. I don't want.
No, the seas.
The very first day that I woke up on board, I woke up, sat up, and threw up.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was rocking and rolling. And fortunately, I was bunking with the chief petty officer, and she knew to immediately. I think she probably had him stashed close by. Just
she's like, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and so she gave me some 7-Up and some saltine crackers, and my stomach settled down, and I was fine the rest of the time. But
wow, that's amazing.
And I found out right away that the best place you want to go on the ship is up in the bridge, because they've always got one or the other of the hatches open, and so you get fresh air all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's exciting.
That's one of those things that you ask for and you don't even probably realize how great the answer could be. How amazing.
I mean, I have to say that the U.S. Coast Guard is the most welcoming organization. It has ever been my privilege to be even a minor, witness to what they do. They work their butts off. They're always training. You come away from something like that thinking, my tax dollars at work, and yay me.
Yay. Oh, that's great.
I feel like they're one of the unsung heroes a little bit, kind of under, we don't talk about the Coast Guard very often, but I will say that my brother-in-law was stationed on Kodiak Island and
wow.
in the Coast Guard, and my nieces. Yeah,
as women, you're going to love this about the Coast Guard as well. They were the first organization, the first of all the services, to promote a woman to command of an armed ship.
Okay, well,
all right, high fives, everybody.
Yeah, high five, Coast Guard. We really love the Coast Guard.
Yeah,
I love that.
Wow.
I love that.
Have you guys ever seen the Clear and Present Danger?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yes.
It's a Harrison Ford, one of the Harrison Ford.
Yes, when they came in the. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the very first scene, if you go back and you look at the movie, the very first scene is on a Coast Guard cutter, a small ship. I don't even know if I should call it a cutter. It's probably not big enough. But anyway, do you remember? And there's a female captain, and they have come out on the boat adrift of all the family that has been murdered by the drug dealers.
I remember this.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it because I love it. I mean, I've watched it a million times too, probably, but
go back and watch the first part again.
Yeah,
I'm going to.
You'll thrill through it.
Yes. Now, did you go to archaeological sites to research this book?
Actually, I read a book.
Okay.
I
That's
read
always good too.
I
Yeah.
read a book by a local archaeologist called Janet Klein, and it was about a small find that was found up the coast. And then I read another book about it, and I think a third book about it. And I thought, how can I make this the plot of a novel? And this is how it turned out.
Yeah, that's cool. That was fun too to read
So
about
the
that.
setting though is first, and then do you put the plot in? I mean, is that how it kind of?
No, I have to. You're going to just be aghast when I tell you
I
the
doubt
truth.
it.
I'm going to tell you the truth here, and I'm glad you're both sitting down.
I'm not actually, but that's okay. I have wine.
We're drinking, so it's okay.
The plot of the book is the thing that least interests me. I am interested in the setting, and I am interested in the people who live there. And then third, I am interested to what they can get up to, good, bad, and indifferent.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
That is a unique approach, though. I like that, though.
I don't know if it's unique, but it's my way.
I do. I feel like a lot of people start with the plot, so that is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, Cathi Christie is famous for her plots. I mean, she's all about the plots.
Yeah.
So, it took a while before I was brave enough to actually, I think, probably realize what I was doing and then say it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a great segue because I recently joined this really amazing group of, that's my dog, you can hear that.
Oh, I was like, which dog is it?
Hey, mine. Apologize, everyone.
That's all right.
I recently joined this really incredible group of fans of fiction called the Danamaniacs.
Oh, hey, listen, they are the best. They are not so boring. They are not so boring that they only read my books. They read everybody's books and they trade titles all the time. I get reads off that page.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to join after this,
Absolutely.
right after.
You totally, if you're a fan of crime fiction, guys, that is like the best online book club.
It is.
Ever.
Yeah. I'm telling you. So here's a recent post that I just joined and I'm engaging. Like I'm fully into this. And like you said, Dana, I'm getting like great recommendations for other books that I haven't had before.
Oh, cool.
So just a post, I think from yesterday, maybe when I was working on the script, one of the Danamaniacs said, well, I got the new Liam novel today, which is this, by the way.
You guys are great with the props.
You're trying. Okay, and here's what she said. She said, I don't want to start reading it because I know it will be over in just a few hours. And I thought, that has got to be the definition of the best thing that a writer would ever hear. Like I'm desperate to hear it, but I get it, but I don't want to read it because it will be gone soon. And
well, this is what you have to reply. Well, then read it a second time.
Anyway, so Dana, what is it like to have that kind of a dedicated group that you are, and I know you're involved because I've seen you're on there too, like you're always interacting with them.
Well, I mean, I like to share good reads too, and when I read a really good book, they're the first people I tell about it because I know they're going to appreciate it. At this point, I'm really, actually, I think I can say, I hope they don't contradict me on the page immediately, but I have to say that I'm really good friends with the 4 managers, and there used to be 5, and I'm also the 5th one. Kim is she's not a manager anymore. She just had lots going on in her own life, and we're really good friends now. And it has been I don't know, I just really lucked out in attracting fans who are smart and funny, and that is not sucking up. That's just the damn truth.
No, they are.
Right.
I've only been involved for a few weeks since we knew we were going to have you on. And I was like, oh, I want to get involved in this. These are really, really amazing humans. I mean, they're engaging. Like it's a real community. Mm-hmm. And I thought that's got to be like one of the goals for anybody in life.
Well, and again, I got to give a shout out to the managers because they monitor very carefully who they allow in. The community is what you see when you are there, and they are determined to keep it that way. to be talking about books and to be talking about things in and around the books. Like sometimes one of them will find something really fun about Alaska that they'll put up there, or the scene from another book, from a book somebody else wrote in a different setting. So, I mean, I can't say enough good about them. I mean, they're terrific people.
That's great.
I'm lucky. I'm just so lucky.
You know what? I agree with you, and I am very thankful that we got to have you on our podcast so that I could learn about this group, because I'm going to continue engaging.
Me too. Yeah.
I will say,
Christy, I think
that's
you're really
fantastic. Yeah, I just sent a link to Christy today. I was like, you got to get on this. Like, it's so these are really cool readers. All right. So, but my last question for you, Dana, is that so I know, and you've said today that setting is your jam. And I had read that when you give advice to aspiring writers like Christy and I, you advise setting be their a focal point. And I also read that you are researched and read that you've started this Storyknife.org, which is a retreat for writers in Alaska.
Did I understand you to say, Cathi, that you and Christy?
Yeah.
Christy, right? Christy are both writers?
We are. We met at Sleuth Fest in Florida.
Have I got a place for you, babe?
Oh, good.
I want you, as the instant that we stop this video cast, you are going to jump on your browser, and you're going to go to storyknife.org, and you're going to read all about it. This was born, I'm the founder, and it consists of a main house and 6 cabins, and writers come, women writers, only women writers are invited, and they come and stay in the 6 cabins, and they work all day on whatever it is that they're working on, and then they gather for dinner at the main house in the evening. And I know it sounds like, okay, the cabin is the thing, and it is the thing, but even more important, in my opinion, is the gathering of the writers together to talk, shop and tell war stories, and to create a community of mutual aid going forward through everyone's writing life. And I have to tell you that this idea is not original to me. It was inspired by the fact that I was accepted at Hedgebrook, which is a writer's retreat for women on Whidbey Island in Puget Sound in Washington State.
Okay, wait.
And
Dana,
sorry.
I took my
I can go on. I'm sorry.
No,
I call stuff.
Dana, my honeymoon was on Whidbey Island.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I don't have to tell you anything about Whidbey Island, which is a fabulous place as well.
Love
it. But it was I actually got to go in 1989, which was the first year. So I'm what they call a plank holder. Well, that's what they call it in the Coast Guard anyway. And then they invited me back for the 25th anniversary, when they told me they only had 40 spaces for 1,400 applications every year.
Oh,
and
wow.
I thought that's not enough. And, maybe 6 more cabins isn't enough either, but it's what I can do. So that's the short version of Story.
Wow.
Wow.
We have our first writers coming on June of this year.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
that's so exciting. Oh my gosh.
Very proud.
And pandemic didn't, what did that do for this?
Well,
You're like going, please.
It put off the opening for a year. Our first writers are supposed to be in April through October. We don't know yet. We're going to wait. We're going to allow the experience to inform us. We don't know if people will be willing to come in the winter. Alaskans will come for sure. They're not.
And South Dakotans will come.
South Dakotans probably would come as well.
Floridians?
Floridians, I'm not sure.
You know what? For us, anything like that is a novelty. So of course we'll come. Last winter? No, it was last spring. Almost a year ago, I was planning on going up to Cathy's.
Oh.
Yeah, this time last
And
year.
I was so excited. I was getting all wintry stuff, and then the pandemic
hit. I have a bin of winter clothes under my bed. I was like, pull them out, sweetheart. It's cold up here.
I have been to Antarctica, so I do have a nice parka from there.
Oh, well, you're fine. Nothing in Alaska is going to scare you.
Dana, so you obviously are very dedicated to sharing your love of writing to the newbie-ish or younger writer. What does that come from that you want to spend time doing that? That's
one thing that has always really bothered me was that they never teach the business of writing to beginning writers. there's all the information out there and all the writers conferences out there and all the writers organizations out there that will tell you everything about the craft of writing, but nothing about the business of writing. And I was like everybody else. I just stumbled over my own feet on, down this path, learning as I went. I made some horrific mistakes, as all writers, I believe, do. And that's bothered me more than any other single thing about the craft of writing. The fact that that's one reason why Hedgebrook was such a seminal moment for me. The writers that were there included a poet, Latina, who wrote magic realism, and a writer, very intimidating writer named Susan Brown, who had written, I think, something like 30 chapter books. She was a Canadian writer. You know what chapter books are, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. And so these all these women were like way ahead of me, and so I just basically sat at their feet and heard what they had to say, and that's what Hedgebrook and Storyknife are for. It's not just about the craft of writing. It's not just about the community of writing. It's the fact that we can share information about the business of writing, especially now when everything is changing every time you turn around. When I first was trying to get into the business of writing, I think there was something like 32 publishers in New York. Now there are 4 and there are about to be 3.
Oh my gosh.
That alone is intimidating enough.
Yeah.
So there needs to be much more free flow of information about the business of writing. I will put in a plug for Sisters in Crime. That's an organization that's
member
business of writing.
Member.
I can't say because my son.
Yeah, yeah, they're really good.
For us, guppies are huge. It's huge.
Oh yeah, are you a guppy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we learned. Christy and I met at Sleuth Fest, which was a Mystery Writers of America organization in Florida, where she is, and I came down there, and
they're a craft conference, and we actually did just like you're saying. That's how we got started doing the blog, because Cathi was like, I've always wanted to do a blog, and we should, because we were brainstorming, like, we don't understand, how do we get into this publishing stuff, and so we were learning and blogging about it, and then we said, let's start talking about it. So that's how we got into this.
We did have, Dana, we had the privilege of having our first, Christy, I don't remember this, but we had our first dinner with, across the table was Hallie Efron and Hank Philippi Ryan. And they were like, you're in the guppies, right? We were like,
yeah,
we're going to meet now.
That's what we were like, okay.
Hank tells you to do something, you better do it.
Exactly.
Just never show your face around her again.
You're right, Dana. When Hank says you do this, you do it. And so we did.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to set my
great.
blind because I look like I'm in heaven right now. I don't know what it looks like to you guys.
Oh, but before we go, Cathi, we have a final question that we always...
We do, Dana. We have a good question for you.
Okay. Yes. This is what we ask the authors. Which of your characters would you like to share a meal with, and what would it be?
Oh, man. Can I resurrect the dead one?
Sure. Whatever you want.
It'd be easy for me to say Cleopatra, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to go to, can I have 2?
Yes.
Emma, Kate's grandmother, and old Sam Dementiev, Kate's uncle. Those are the 2.
Oh, yeah.
Those are, I would sit down over a meal with the both of them. Any
together, or do you think they're going to be separate?
Oh, I don't know. There might be some really good tension going on between the 2 of them, so it'd be fun. I could secretly take notes under the table. Man, I got this whole full-blown fantasy going on now, thanks to the 2 of you.
All right, so what are you gonna have? I mean, are you gonna have like games?
We're totally gonna have moose stew and homemade bread. Absolutely.
There you go. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are you a bread maker?
Am I? Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I'm impressed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, don't be too impressed. There's one loaf of bread in particular that I really, really love to make. It's my variation of the Sullivan Street recipe from the New York Times.
Oh,
that's the only
thing I can make too.
Well, I mean, and I don't do the exact way that he says to do it either. You know, I personally think that the original recipe is a good way to ruin a dish towel. I don't have that many dish towels, so I'm not doing that.
You can't get that dough off.
There's nothing.
Well, I got to
wrong
tell you,
with
I've tried to
the
bake.
world.
I've tried to bake bread down here, and I love bimini bread, so I tried so many different, but I got to tell you, I think it's the humidity down here. It's not my skills
Not cold enough
that
down
are causing the bread to never come out right.
What is Bimini bread?
there. Oh,
Bimini bread, it's like got honey rolled into it. It's like a spun, a regular, like kind of a fluffy white bread, but it has like honey rolled into it so that it's kind of sweet and savory at the same time. It's really good. It's from Bimini, but they have because I'm in South Florida, so we have places here that would have it actually.
Yeah.
They're not
I
here
was pretty
anymore
close
right
to
now.
trying that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I did try. I tried.
All right.
It's good stuff though. Makes good French bread too.
Hey, Dana, thanks so much. This has been
Thank
fun.
you.
Entirely. This was a blast, you guys. Thank you so much for
Thanks.
inviting me.
It was a blast.
Yeah, thanks.
And shout out to all the Danamaniacs, including the ones on the spoilers are allowed page, which I'm also a member of. I love that. I was like,
make sure you send me a link, okay, to the YouTube video so that
Oh,
I
we
can
will.
share it on the Danamaniacs page.
okay. I'm a happy member. So cheers to you, Dana, and kudos
Cheers.
on Spoils of the Dead.
Thank you so much, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.